Jim Mora is here in studio, head coach of UCLA football after an excellent recruiting class by all measures and standards here on the program. Good to see you. How you doing?
I'm well, Rich. How about you?
I'm doing well. I don't know where to go with you first because I want to save the gold, as they say, for the radio audience when they come back.
Okay.
So I don't know where to go with you. I want you to save your Sable stories.
Okay.
But I also want some Grammy stories. I know you went
to
there.
the Grammys, yeah.
Okay.
I've gone to the Grammys the last few years.
Okay.
And AC/DC opening the show was good.
Okay.
If you like ballads, then it was a great show. If you get a little bit bored with ballads, then you might have snoozed a little. But
was Tom Jones and Jessie J awkward in person, or was it good?
That was a little interesting.
Felt a little awkward.
Yeah, a little interesting. Beyonce, her voice is amazing at the end, but I just kept waiting for her to like rip off that dress and have something sexy and silk, sequins on and break into a dance, and she didn't. But it's always fun to go and people watch. Rihanna had that really cool like pink Cinderella dress on, and I'm kind of a people watcher, so it was fun.
I mean, my God, the ultimate people watching is Staples. Even for any basketball game, if you ever go to a Laker or Clipper game, sometimes people don't even watch what's going down on the court. It's some great people watching.
Kind of cool, and this is, you might be a little young for this, but Jimmy Jam, you know who Jimmy Jam is?
Of course, sure, yeah.
Well, Jimmy Jam, I met him 3 years ago at the Grammys, and so we've stayed in contact, so I met up with him there, and I've gotten to know his wife and his family real well. His son is actually a very good basketball player who might come to UCLA next year, so... Yeah, I got P. Diddy and Snoop, and then we got to get Jimmy Jam, and I'm thinking about offering Ivy Blue, Jay-Z's daughter.
Right now?
Right now.
How soon can you do that?
Is there any rule that I can't do it right now?
There's no. Well, would Kanye step up and stop you from doing that?
I don't know. Maybe
because he's
don't
very
they have
protective.
Like a son named North or something like that?
He's very protective.
Yeah.
Of Beyonce, as you know. As you know, I mean, he took a step up, and then he took a step back.
I saw an interesting tweet that someone said about Kanye that he didn't understand that Beth plays 14 different instruments, and he's criticizing this guy's not having artistic integrity or anything. He plays 14 different instruments.
You got to be prepared.
Yeah.
You got to be prepared.
So,
That's just like a coach.
And his wife's Kim Kardashian. You're challenging artistic credibility.
I think we're going to break.
Mooch told me that you had Kim Kardashian on the set.
Tell me about young Cordell Broadus and the big decision that's coming up right now, Snoop. February 4th.
Yeah.
A couple days after the Super Bowl.
Yes, sir. I'm so excited for my son because I put so many other kids through college, and now to have a direct connect with my bloodline, making a decision on where he's going to go, this is going to be an awesome experience. I can't wait to see where he goes and to see how he becomes, a developed young football player, so one day we can get him at the combine and see what he do.
That was Snoop in our Super Bowl show talking about his son deciding where he's going to go to school. And Snoop, despite being Mr. Long Beach Poly with Willie McGinnis, Mr. USC, Mr. Trojan, he goes ahead and chooses UCLA with my guest, Jim Mora. Good to see you, Coach. How are you?
I'm excellent.
What in the world is a recruiting visit with Snoop Dogg like? Did that go down?
It was fun. He was probably the most informed, at least one of the most informed parents that I spoke to in this recruiting cycle.
Sure.
Had great questions, very respectful, let his son express himself. And I think that was most impressive to me was the fact that it wasn't about football for Snoop. It was about how can we prepare my son for life after football? How is a UCLA degree and what's the plan for him when he gets done playing football? And it was great. Now, I had to buy one of those hats that he had on there to secure the deal. And I promised him I'd wear it on the sidelines next year.
Yeah, but, Cowboy Snoop. Cowboy Snoop put on that lid when he was here with us at the Super Bowl.
But he was great. He had his wife. He had his arm around his wife. It was just a normal home visit.
Just happens to be Snoop Dogg.
Just happens to be Snoop. You get his demeanor allows you to get past that very quickly. And the focus wasn't Snoop. The focus was Cordell. And I think that people have to understand that Cordell's a heck of a football player who offered when he was 15 years old. So I've known him for quite a while.
Now, it's difficult whenever I speak to a coach about their recruiting class because there's, obviously there's some that play positions more I guess, spotlighted than others, like, Josh Rosen, quarterback.
Right.
But you don't want to leave anybody out. As a whole, your thoughts on the recruiting class of 2015?
Well, it was
UCLA.
excellent. We signed 5 players that were ranked #1 at their position in the nation. So that's hard to do. 4 of them on offense. You mentioned Josh Rosen, who's a local kid here. He went to St. John Bosco. He's actually the #1 ranked player in the country.
Right.
He's already at UCLA as a student. He's been there almost a month now. He graduated early. And then we went into Texas and got the #1 running back, Soso Jamabo, which is a great name. And then we went into Connecticut and got the #1 tight end in the country, Chris Clark. And we got the #1 center in the country named Fred Ulu Perry. And then we've got a defensive guy I'm still kind of fighting for, so I really can't mention his name.
Okay.
But,
I don't want to get in that.
I don't need to get the NCAA, you know how that is. So.
I know. I don't want to go there because, you know, and I know Rosen's a local kid. So I was going to offer, you know, for him to come over for a Yom Kippur, break the fast
he might
at my
like
house.
To do that.
I just don't, but he's local, and I don't want to overstep any bounds here with
No,
you,
I think
Coach.
you could do that. It's funny, Josh and I had a relationship before I even knew he was a player. He was friends with my daughter, Lilia. And, you know, they were good friends, and he'd come over to the house. I'd say, good-looking kid, do you play football? Yeah, I'm a quarterback.
You had no idea?
I really had no idea. And this was, you know, 3 years ago or so, and he was just kind of breaking on the scene. And so it helped having that prior relationship with him. I've gotten close to him and his family, and just naturally, you know, organically. And he's a heck of a player and a great kid.
I'm here with Jim Mora, head coach of UCLA. What about the one who is departing your program now, getting ready for the combine? What is your role with players in your mind moving on to the next level, like your quarterback that's now going to the next level?
Well, I think
right
I have
now.
a lot to offer them in terms of advice because of my experience in the NFL. You know, a long time spent in the NFL, and I've been at a million different combines and
Yes, you
dealt with
have.
agents and all those things. And so I just try to be there for them to answer questions. A lot of them get hooked up with agents. When they get hooked up with agents, you kind of lose touch with them a little bit. They get a different voice in their head. But I just try to be there to help them prepare, you know, for the interviews, for the process, what it's going to be like, and make the transition easier.
Yeah, I mean, well, and with a kid like Hundley, he's not at the top in terms of the top two quarterbacks that everybody's throwing out there. And at some point, he's going to get, in many ways, the treatment that Mariota's getting right now, where everybody's like, well, all of a sudden, well, there's this hole, there's that problem. You said, you know, when we chatted in December, that if you were the Buccaneers, you'd send the card in for Mariota right now, and he's widely considered the second best quarterback behind Winston.
Well, I think that,
right now.
you know, in my opinion, he's the best quarterback and the best player. That's my opinion based upon what I've seen, which is a lot of film of him. You know, anytime you start to go in depth in evaluating these players, you're going to find holes. There's nobody that doesn't have a weakness, a deficiency, but Marcus Mariota has such great character. He's big, he's fast, he's strong, he can throw it. You know, to me, he's a sure thing. And now I know that as we go through this draft process, you know, guys like Mike Mayock, they have to bring up issues that they see because it adds intrigue to the whole process.
No, well, Mayock is the only guy, though, that I know of, because I sit next to him, just so he tells it like he sees it.
Well, I think he's great.
He stays away from Twitter. The NFL Network begs this man to get a Twitter account. And he just doesn't care. He doesn't want to have the magazines.
Right.
He just sees what he says
and
what
he
sees on
it, which
tape.
is great.
So he says, essentially, this guy's a project for everybody but Chip Kelly.
See, I don't
at the next
agree with
level.
that. You know, I don't agree with that. And I would venture to say I've seen more of Marcus Mariota than Mike Mayock. And I respect Mike. And
sure.
If there's one voice out there that I would listen to, it would be Mike, because he does the work. You know, he doesn't poach off of other people's information. Mike does the work. He looks at the film. He's active in calling coaches. But I don't think that he's a project. I think the guy's special. That's just, you know, based upon playing him and evaluating and studying him for two years now. So I think he's
You still
great.
hand in the card for him right now for the Bucks
without a doubt.
over Winston.
Without it, it's no question.
Jim
Hands
Mora
down.
of UCLA joining me here. Before I turn to the Sables, and I want to have a few minutes to tell that, you have a new defensive coordinator coming into your midst.
Eventually, yeah.
Because Dan Quinn, your buddy,
Yep.
took your defensive coordinator
He did.
to Atlanta.
Yeah, he took him. Took Jeff Ulbrich, our coordinator. It's interesting. You know, I gave Dan his first job in the NFL.
Yeah. And this is
then
how he repays you?
Hired Jeff, gave him a coordinator's job, and they ganged up on me, and they gathered together and went to Atlanta. But I'm really happy for both of them. You know, they're both really close friends of mine, and you never want to stand in the way of somebody trying to further their career and do what's best for their family. So I'm happy for Dan that he got that job. I'm happy for Jeff if this is what he wants. I wish him the best.
When do you think you're going to have a candidate for yourself?
Well, I was going to talk to you off air, see if you had any suggestions, or you.
I'm available.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a defensive. I'm just always on the defense.
Yeah.
You know, I've got 3 kids.
I know.
In the house. I'm running around.
We'd probably play a lot of zone if you were.
Yeah, I know.
If you were in the house, but
yeah.
we'll figure something out here.
Okay.
We've got some good candidates.
I want to give you the floor. Ed Sable, Steve Say, who just passed away yesterday, age 98. I'm sure you and your dad had many dealings with the Sable family. What comes to mind first off?
Just their wealth of knowledge and time spent in Mount Laurel at the NFL Films facilities. It's just a vault of information. And I'm a junkie. You know, I'm a football junkie. I love the history. I love the present, and being able to go over there and spend time with them. And
you would do that?
Oh yeah. Our families were very close, the Sables and the Moras. My dad and Steve Sable were very, very, very close.
How so?
Oh, they would go to dinner at every combine. Through Carl Peterson, they became very, very close, and talked on the phone often. I became real close with Steve, as a matter of fact. After my dad got out of the league, I spent a lot of time with Steve. There was just always a real kinship there, I think, because we were both football families, and very invested in the game. And so just to have that access to the studios, and he would send me every year. When I got the job in Atlanta, I wanted to run videos through the TVs in the weight room and the locker room. So Steve would go and find all the great old videos and put them on tape for me or DVD and send them to me.
No kidding.
He always took care of me. He was just a great man.
I don't know how he had time to. He did that for a lot of people
he did it
too.
for
I don't know
everybody.
how ever he had time to do that. He was always so caring and so available for everybody. And I once asked him the coach that he wired up that needed to be bleeped out the most. Do you know the answer to that question?
I would say my dad, probably.
It was not your dad. It was not your dad.
It would have been me, I can tell you that.
It was not you. It was not you. I asked him, give me the coach that you had to wire up. You and your dad go way
Ditka?
back. Not Ditka.
It's a surprise.
It is a
here.
surprise.
Tom Landry.
He said this guy cursed so much that it sounded like a truck backing up, and it was Marv Levy.
Really?
Yes, the guy who screams, "You over-officious jerk."
Yeah.
He found like the one time that he didn't curse out somebody and used like a multiple syllable word.
If you could ever
90
get
seconds.
the dialogue that goes on during a game between coaches on the headphones, you'd think we were a bunch of psychopaths, which we probably are. But the things that are said, if they were said like, in a non-competitive environment, I mean, there'd be fist fights, people would be quitting, there'd be feelings hurt. It would be really ugly, because there is some stuff said that you just can't
But
believe.
I think you're also hitting on something here, and I only have a minute left, is that you guys trusted the Sables, the coaches, right? I mean,
everyone trusted the Sables.
that you would say that if you heard, and they heard it all, but yet you still trusted them to wear a mic and knew that they would still put out there enough for fans to get what it takes to be you on the sideline, while still not putting all that psychopathic stuff out there.
They had great integrity, and they were extremely trustworthy, and they could be that way with 32 different teams. They could maintain a level of integrity and trust with every team across the board, and I think that's probably the thing that made them so endearing to everybody.
Good to see you.
All right, Rich.
You take care.
Pal.
You bet. That is Jim Mora, head coach of UCLA, right here in studio. Good luck with your class.
Yeah,
and with Snoop on the sideline. Not on the sideline, right?
Snoop will be in the house. Snoop, P. Diddy. Like I said, it's the rap game.
You are
UCLA rap game.
You are just. You've got a collection.
You know what? It's about their kids, though. I don't want to.
Okay, very good.
It's about Justin Combs and Cordell Broadus.
Attaboy. Thank you for coming on.
All right.
That's Coach Jim Mora. Marshall Faulk will be the next guest. He went into the Pro Football Hall of Fame with Ed Sable. And your phone calls as well. Please do call us, 844-204-RICH, and vote on our poll question on RichEisenShow.com about your favorite contribution that NFL Films has made to your viewing experience.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern. On Audience.